All right, folks, I'm here at Overland Expo West here in Flagstaff. I got Michael with Overland Bound with me.
Jason, we're neighbors here at the expo. It's been awesome.
Yeah, it's been great having you guys right next door and finally getting the opportunity to chat with you a little bit. So it's been pretty busy here this trip.
It has. Well, Expo this year, I mean every year, we say this every year, but it just keeps growing and growing and growing. So many people want to get out there, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's great seeing so many new people like coming and you know, kind of getting into it and wanting to go out and enjoy our public land system. But I think with that, we need to make sure, as people like ourselves that have a little bit of influence, make sure we still keep sharing that message of public land responsibility.
Absolutely, and you can't say it enough.
Yeah.
Right? You just got to keep doing it. Everyone wants to do the right thing, but honestly, with so many people with a renewed interest in getting outside, a lot of folks, they just don't know. You know? They just don't know the proper, land stewardship. Yeah.
Right, so, and that's important. I mean, everything from knowing your fire regulations, like right now, we're all probably going into it, and I think here in Arizona already that they are in fire ban. I'm absolutely sure that by the time I get back to Oregon, we'll be in fire ban.
Right.
And just kind of knowing those regulations and making sure you're checking with your local Forest Service websites and stuff like that, because every district kind of has different regulations.
It can be confusing, admittedly, but you're absolutely right. You can go from region to region, and there's slightly different regulations, so you need to check up on it.
Right.
Yeah.
And then the other thing too is just making sure you're packing out everything that you take in and not leaving stuff behind. Like probably one of my biggest pet peeves, and you'll probably know this, is when I come to a campsite that has garbage left in the fire pit. Like they think fire pits are garbage receptacles.
Yep.
And that's not what they're there for.
Right. Or the little white desert flowers, we like to call those, like tissues. Tissues.
Oh man, that drives me absolutely nuts.
Leave it better than you found it. That's a mantra we kind of live by. And if you can do just a little thing, touching on a couple of things you said, Jason. If you go in and you check, you actually physically go into a ranger station or district station and you check the fire regulations. It's also a really good opportunity to talk to the local rangers and get the information. They like to talk to you. They also, a lot of them have the emblem maps, and it's great to get a paper map.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of benefits to going in and checking. And then in terms of leaving it better than you found it, you do this. A lot of folks that sort of adhere to best practices, you do one little thing, check your campsite, and it leads a really good example for other folks, and they might not know, and they might see you in the morning before you roll out, checking for cigarette butts, maybe picking up some of the trash. Bring gloves and have gloves. I have gloves in my trasharoo. I have a trash picker upper in my trasharoo. Pick up some garbage, and then whoever you roll with, if you happen to be out there with folks, so the next morning they'll be doing it. And it just kind of spreads. It makes a big impact.
And that just kind of goes as like maybe bring an extra trash bag or a couple things like that, so that because when you do come to a campsite, you're going to probably find some trash, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So if you could leave it a little better, then again, just like Michael said, maybe the next person will come. Since I did a cleanup here recently. A guy said something that made sense to me. Is like once people kind of see a site has trash in it, it almost sets a precedence to leave more trash.
Yep.
And so if you can kind of clean up that, and then maybe that sets a new precedence that maybe we need to really make sure that it's clean when we leave.
Absolutely. And you just touched on a really good thing, and that is sort of an established behavior. The other thing that's related to that is sight lines going off trail. So we do work, a lot of work on the Mojave Road. We work with the Forest Service, and one of the things that they want everyone to reiterate is just not to go off the trail, because if you go off trail, it leaves sight lines, just two tracks going off the trail, and then that becomes a road. It's just like one person, and then that will become a road because somebody else comes through and says, "Oh, look, there are tracks here. I can drive here."
Right.
And they shouldn't be. So that's another important
that is another good thing, because I mean, here's the thing, guys. There is plenty of roads.
Yeah.
Like we don't need to make more.
Yeah.
Like let's enjoy it. There's plenty of roads to enjoy.
Yep.
We don't need to go out there and go off site and drive over vegetation. I recently was in an area on the way down here to Nevada. I found a spot I really wanted to camp. I had to spend an excessive amount of time trying to find a spot to put the van where I wasn't going to put it on any vegetation, you know, like, so,
Right.
you know, take that time, and so that way these areas stay nice, because like I said, I've always told people in my channel that our public lands, to me, are more precious than the gold that we have in this country.
Right.
You know,
Right.
like, this is a
Absolutely.
real resource that many people, you know, wish they had. In my channel, and you probably hear it too, like, God, I
Absolutely.
wish I lived somewhere where we had all this land.
Oh.
So we have to protect it, for
You're,
sure.
you're absolutely right, and it's funny because, you know, the grass is always greener, but we have, Overland Bound has members worldwide, and we have members that travel in their rig around the world, through Africa and any place that you can imagine, full time. And their response to us is, hey, you guys, it's funny because when we talk to people from North America and the United States, they want to go to Africa and they want to go to Australia. And of course, it's a natural desire to explore what you don't know.
Exactly.
But they remind us, North America is overlanding Mecca.
Exactly.
You guys have everything, and it's public land, and it's easily accessible. So we should be taking care of it.
Exactly.
You guys fund it. It's your land. Let's all take care of it. You know. And just make sure it's a resource for us going into the future.
So one last thing before we wrap this up.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about the new app that you guys are coming out with.
Yeah. So it came from a genuine need by our members. And there's a lot of software out there, but we started with community and that connection with community, and the community being able to help one another. Because as you know, when you go a little bit further off the beaten path, you need a little bit of support. You guys will go out there if you adventure like Jason does. You will break stuff, you'll break axles, you know, you'll need help from time to time. So our community needs to communicate. So that's where we started, is by building that network and making it super easy to get support when you need it. And it might even be, hey, you know, what kind of surface should I put on my rig? But sometimes it's more critical. So we have community, then we have trip and event planning, and then we have hardcore high-tech mapping and navigation. We're doing some really exciting things there. So if you wanted to, you know, if I, you know, nutshell the Overland Bound One app, it is community plus mapping and navigation integrated seamlessly together, so you have that support network when you go out there. That's what it's all about.
Awesome. I'm gonna check it out, because
Cool.
I mean,
Cool.
like I said, you know, I have had breakdowns out in the wild. Now, luckily, I had the tools and the capability to kind of take care of this thing myself. But sometimes you're not always going to have that right tool, or you're not going to have that spare part, or something like that. Maybe I'm understanding that maybe I could go communicate with someone that might be nearby that could help me out and bring me something.
Wherever you are on the map, you open up the map, there's your pinpoint, you see all the members around you, you say, message those members, and that's it, and somebody's going to respond. We like one of the things we say is, any one of our members is going to like to tell their boss, hey, someone's in trouble out there, I gotta go.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, so I'm going to check it out. I'm going to put it on my phone.
Yeah, awesome.
Thanks a lot, Michael. Thanks for taking some time.
Yeah,
and
I love it.
like I said, guys, our public lands are very precious.
That's
let's
right.
take good care of them, and let's continue exploring.
All right, guys, keep being awesome.